Welcome back. We have been talking to Pastor Abram, and he's been explaining to us about Next Gen, but now he's going to talk to us a little bit about Tribe, which is another part of the Next Gen program. And tell us, brother, how did Tribe get started?
So again, Next Gen is a movement to mentor and coach next generation leaders. And under that umbrella of Next Gen, one of the things that we wanted to do, besides just offering the free resources on the website and doing different networking moments, is that we wanted to take young leaders and offer some type of coaching cadre, a small group of young leaders, 10 to 15, that would come together. And what we would do is we would expose them to some national voices throughout this great land and really just give them deeper access. And so what Tribe is about, Tribe is a 3-month program where any young leader under the age of 40 can sign up, fill out an application, and once they're accepted, they become part of this group. And for the next 3 months, they'll receive weekly emails of insight and leadership tips. They'll get access to video conference calls with great leaders from around this nation, and they'll just get exposed to, again, effective habits that'll help them become better leaders.
Okay, so it's a smaller group. Also.
It is. It's a smaller group, and again, if you think about small group settings, we learn better in small group settings.
Right.
You know, even when we look at the model of Jesus, who was the greatest leader of all time, Jesus would often, have his speeches or his preachings to the crowds, but he would give his revelation, his deeper insight to the disciples, and they were a small group of 12 men. And so what we've seen, I've learned this in my own leadership, that I can preach to a congregation on a Sunday, but my greater leadership moments happen more one-on-one and with a smaller group.
That's true.
And so Tribe really seeks to bring young leaders of like mind for the next 3 months, 90 days, 12 weeks, where we get them together. They don't know each other, but after those 3 months, they'll know each other, they'll build that relationship, and they'll learn in the process.
That's great. So what need did you see for Tribe here in the Valley?
Well, the reason why I saw the need is because, again, as I went through a personal development process myself in 2012 and really became more intentional, because I'm a firm believer, nobody grows on accident. You grow on purpose.
Intention.
We often think that because we get a new title, or because we're older, or because we get more income, that we're better and more effective, and that's not the case.
That's true.
I have seen people that don't have a title and they're effective leaders. They can make things happen. And I've seen people who have titles and they're not that great of a leader, and so what I've learned, that it has nothing to do with the outside, the external. It has everything to do with that person's drive and passion to want to get better. And so what Tribe seeks to do, because again, I went through it myself personally, and through that, we help to expose these young leaders, this group, to effective habits such as reading. I've learned that all great leaders are readers. Even if you look at Zuckerberg, you look at Bill Gates, you look at all these great leaders in corporate America, they're readers. I mean, they read books, they learn from other people. Oprah Winfrey, T.D. Jakes, all these great leaders, they read other people's thoughts. And we often think, well, I'll never be able to be mentored by a great leader. And I agree with you. I don't know if I'll ever sit down at the table and break bread with some great leaders in this world, but what I can do, I can purchase their thoughts by reading their books.
That's true.
And when I read their books, I allow them to mentor me mentally and learn the way they think and learn how they process information. And even you can read greater insight from their habits. I've learned some great habits through John Maxwell. And I don't even know John Maxwell personally, but I feel like I know him because I've read so many of his books. And his books have taught me so much. And so what Tribe seeks to do is Tribe is saying, hey, stop looking at yourself like a victim. Stop saying what you don't have. Look at what you're able to do and apply those things to your own personal life.
That's awesome. That's great information. That is awesome. Now, tell me a little bit about, why do you feel mentoring is such an important part of all this?
Because again, people have to see in order to do. I have a 4-year-old daughter, and my daughter, anytime she gets around other little kids, oftentimes they'll either emulate what she's doing or she'll emulate what they're doing. Because that's how humans are created, when we see things. I've often said this, you cannot be elevated beyond the level you've been exposed to. Meaning you don't know if there's a greater way until you've seen a greater way.
That's true.
You don't know if there's a better way to be a leader. You don't know if there's a better way to interact with people until you've seen a better way or have learned a better way. And so that's how we've been created. What Tribe does is, you got to imagine, it's bringing 10 to 15 young leaders together with mentors and national voices speaking into this. So you have this conglomerate, you have this bowl of this recipe that is just waiting to make people better. And from all of our insights, because here's the thing that I've learned too, is that I'm a limited resource as a leader, meaning I only have one camera angle of life that I've seen life through. So if I think that my camera lens, my camera angle is the only way, I'm fooling myself. But if I'm humble enough to submit myself and to understand that, hey, instead of looking at other people like they don't know anything, if I can look at them like, hey, they have a different camera angle from what I don't have. Even across this table, you're seeing something entirely differently by looking at me as I'm looking at you. It's the same thing with life and leadership. You have learned some things on your journey. I've learned some things on my journey. And when we share these things, sparks begin to happen. And that's why the Bible says iron sharpens iron. And you got to find some iron people around in your life that are going to teach you something new. But it also takes a level of humility, a level of grace, and really a level of willingness to want to learn.
Wanting to learn.
That's right.
I think that's probably the main driving force that'll make you join. But can you also tell me a little bit, or who qualifies to?
So really anybody qualifies that's under the age of 40. We really seek to find people that are between the ages of 18 and 40. We believe that this is a generation of millennials, Gen Xers that may comprise that group. But the reason why we seek these young leaders is because we want to help them form those habits early on. We want them to see. Look, here's the thing, is that even with my own faith, I believe that anyone at any time, at any age of their life, can turn their life around. Here's the problem. If you wait till you're 75 or 85 to turn your life around or to get things in order, it's okay. We'll applaud you. Here's the problem. You missed out on all those years that you really could have given your stamina and your strength to really charge towards your purpose. I believe the reason why God wants us to understand our purpose at a very early age is so that we can get started at an early age. So that we can give the best of our years, our 20s, our 30s, our 40s, the prime years where we have our strength, our stamina, our insight, our clarity, our intellect, where it's running at this height. That we can give it to our purpose and to our destiny. That by the time we're 75 and 85, we're looking back to say, look what the Lord has done in our life.
Amazing.
That's why I believe God calls us at an early age. So what Tribe seeks to do is that we want to find those guys and gals at an early age, 18, 25, that are still trying to find their identity and who they are. They're out of college, but they really don't know what to do. They're at a small church, but they really don't have leadership. They're part of this organization, but they really don't know where to go to, or they really don't belong to a community. Tribe seeks to create all of that for these young leaders.
That is awesome. That's awesome. I think another thing when you were referring to learning these habits at a young age. I am older, and believe me, it's hard to break bad habits.
That's right. Yeah,
it's so much harder as you get older. And it's funny that you mentioned that, because I tell my own children that. I say, get good habits now, because as you get older, they're so much harder to break.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that once you're exposed to these habits, it comes again through Tribe. We offer coaches, and these coaches help to keep you accountable during those 3 months. We're checking up on you. Hey, how are you doing with your book reading? How are you doing with interacting with new people? We even challenge young leaders to do this. We even challenge young leaders to put something encouraging about another leader from another community. And this is why we do this.
That's good.
Because we're trying to teach young leaders, hey, it's not all about you. There are other great leaders that are doing great, effective things. And if you can learn to celebrate others, people will start to celebrate you.
That's great. Now tell me, how does someone apply?
Now, someone can apply by going to our website, mynextgen.org, and they can download an application and submit it to the email there. And so it's a great thing that they can do. They can also, again, go to our Facebook, NextGen. They can send us a message, and we'll be more than glad to serve them.
Okay, that's great. Now, what is offered with this program?
So through Tribe, like I said, it's 3 months, it's 90 days, and through it they get weekly emails of leadership insight and ministry insight. They get access to video conference calls at least once a month. They also get other great free stuff. We get them on a book reading plan. We get them setting up their goals and how to set up a scoreboard for their goals. We've often learned in setting goals, it's one thing to set goals, but it's another thing to keep a scoreboard of their goals. Or how else are you going to know if you're winning or losing? If you go to a football game, if there wasn't a scoreboard, can you imagine what would happen with the crowd? You wouldn't know if you're winning or losing. Well, it's the same thing in life. It's the same thing with the goals. How do you know if you're winning if you don't have a scoreboard to let you know if you're falling falling behind. We teach young leaders this. And so they get access to all of these great things on Tribe.
That's awesome. Hey, I know the program has been in existence here for a while. So what kind of outcome have you seen with the Tribe program?
So just quick testimony. We had this one leader that went through it who was a local youth pastor in his church. He went through it. He learned some habits. He learned some insight. And what he started to do is he started to take these habits and these teachings that he was learning, and he started to apply it to his leaders within his church and his community. And what he began to see, here's the powerful part. He had a young leader that came up to him in tears, crying, thanking him for sharing him a better way. This young man that came to him crying went back to his parents, asked for forgiveness because he didn't feel like he was being a good son, felt like he could be better, told this youth pastor this. This youth pastor called me up and said, Pastor Abram, I just want to thank you. Because of Tribe, I've become a better leader and a better husband. And now my students and my leaders are feeling the effects of that effectiveness in my life.
See, that is great. That's what it's all about.
That's
being
right.
able to share something like this, have someone else take it and implement it in their own little
and do it in their world,
congregations,
do it in their
own
sphere,
little world, or
in their community.
That is amazing. That is amazing. Now tell me, what have people said? What have you heard? People saying about Tribe?
The people that have gone through Tribe, some of the feedback we've gotten is that, Pastor Abram, I never knew about these habits. Pastor Abram, I wasn't a reader before.
Right.
Pastor Abram, I've made friendships through the Tribe. I don't feel like I'm alone anymore. I feel like I have people that I can talk to and lean to. I've gotten greater insight. Man, this really gave me a new perspective. Those are the type of comments that we get from people that have gone through Tribe.
That is great. That is awesome. I'm telling you, I am getting so excited that I want to join.
Yes, yeah, well, go look at it.
I'm a little older, like I said, but it's amazing because we can all learn.
That's right.
And I think that is probably one of the biggest challenges that we have as individuals is always wanting to learn.
That's right.
Knowing that it's important that we continue to learn.
That's right.
And I think going through a program like this, like you said, you could be 60, 70, 80. Yeah, you lost a lot of years where you could have probably impacted others.
That's right.
With your own personal knowledge that you didn't gain. But hey, there's still life ahead of us, so we can still impact
That's
someone.
right. And here's the thing. Your Creator wants you to know the purpose that you were created
Exactly.
for. He wants you to know. So it would do well. The Bible says this, that it is the glory of God to conceal a matter, and it's the glory of kings to search that matter out. I often say this, you don't run to destiny, you release destiny because it's already inside of you.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Well, I mean, I am like so excited to see that this is in the Valley because I think we needed it.
Yes.
I think there's need for that kind of program. I mean, I think as Christians, we are often thinking, we see the way the world is behaving or the way young kids are there's no regard sometimes for adults or for respect and all that stuff. So when you can teach them, they're going to learn all of that. It's going to be automatic.
And sometimes
it's going to be automatic.
All they need is a mentor.
As a mentor.
Yeah.
So, and I think that mentoring and the fact that it comes from in a church setting, I think that's a good thing. The fact that it's going to, that what they're going to learn is going to be the right.
Yes.
The right information is not going to be just something,
It's with their best interest in mind.
With their best interest in mind. That is awesome.
Right.
That is awesome. Well, we have been talking to Pastor Abram Gomez. He is a director of Next Gen and Tribe, and he is his phone number is 254-498-3147. Their website is www.mynextgen.org. You can also find him on Facebook at Next Gen. Abram, thank you so much for sharing with us. I've enjoyed it.
Thank you.
I really
thank you for having me.
I think it's a program that we can use here in the Valley, and I am so happy that God put that in your heart.
Thank you.
To expose the Valley to that.
Thank you so
and
much.
I'd like to thank you all so much for watching this segment of Joy in Our Town.
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily represent those of KLUJ TV or its management.